All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of Modern Running. Here with Jordan as usual. And how was your week, man?
It was good. It was better than last week, I would say. A lot hotter weather-wise,
Definitely the weather shifted.
but I adjusted. I feel like I adjusted pretty fast. Like normally you have to acclimate yourself like
Right.
when it gets cold, when it gets hot, and then like 40 degrees you can run shirtless,
Right.
whereas 80 degrees sometimes you're sweating like crazy versus 80 degrees acclimated, it's pretty comfortable.
Right.
And it's starting to get comfortable for me. I didn't do my run today yet. Today's pretty hot and humid.
Yeah, I'm
So
about to do mine and then jump in my neighbor's pool.
your what? Your pool?
My neighbor has a pool. I'm
Oh,
going to
your
jump in
neighbor's
there.
pool. Okay. I thought you said you got a pool. I was like, oh
No,
baby.
I wish. When I'm having everyone down this summer, I'm going to try and see if we can all go in there.
Oh sweet. I got a pool in my backyard, but it's above ground. It's like
Yeah,
four
they have
feet
like an
deep.
8-foot in-ground pool.
Oh, that's sweet. Does it have a diving board?
It used to, and then the old neighbors moved out and they took it out when they did because a lot of people don't want diving boards with little kids because they could get hurt.
Oh, okay.
So they took it out
Gotcha.
to sell it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, um, my week went pretty well. Yesterday was definitely the highlight of my week because
Why?
I holded off my run. And then I didn't know when I was going to do it because it was really hot. Even when I
Yeah.
woke up and it was like 70 something degrees already. I was like, maybe I'll wait till night. And I was looking at the weather and it showed that like around 4 o'clock, a big storm was supposed to come in. So I was like, maybe I'll do it at like 3:30 and I don't know, maybe have a little experiment trying to outrun a storm or something.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I go out at 3:30 ready to run, and storms at my house always come from the northeast
Okay.
or northwest. So I looked over there and it was just black. I was like,
Really?
oh, it's going to be fun. And everywhere else was just clear skies.
That's
So
right. Because last week you said you love running in the rain.
yes, yeah, I love it. And I purposely make myself do it.
You are a different breed, my friend.
It gets me out and it gets me going. So it was like two and a half miles into it is when the storm started.
And how
The
long was the
first,
run in total?
7,
So you
a little
ran.
over 7.5.
So you ran 5 miles in the rain.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much.
Bless
But yeah,
your
the
heart.
first 2 or 2.5 was very hot, very sunny. It was weird. It felt like there was a spotlight on me. Like I felt like it was like a judgment type of thing because like it got to the point where everywhere around me was cloudy and dark, but right where I was sunny,
Okay.
and it was kind of calm. It was like the calm before the storm. It's kind of cool. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
the wind started picking up and like dust and dirt started getting my eyes. So it was already hard to see before I even got into the rain or anything. And there was a water tower about a 2-3 miles in the distance that I kept looking at. It was right behind or right in front of where the storm was coming from. So I was like, as long as that water tower's still there, I'm good.
Yeah, you'll be golden.
Yeah.
That's a pretty safe bet. If the water tower's not there,
Yeah.
then you're probably screwed.
Exactly. And then about 3 miles behind the water tower, there's 2 different mountains and they kind of overlap. So I can see half of one, half of the other.
Okay.
And the one in the background started to disappear. So it was coming pretty fast. And so half a mile down the road, then there was an intersection with a warehouse. By the time I got to there, the second mountain disappeared. And by the last point that I could see the water tower, I turned around to look at it and it wasn't there.
Oh.
And in the next 5 minutes, the wind, I thought it was like a little bit of a hurricane type of deal. Because
It was strong wind,
it
right?
was strong. It was shoving me.
It was
like,
terrible.
Yeah, it was horrifying. And there was this old guy on the porch, and he goes, "Hey, man, you're going to get a little bit wet here." And he just gives me a thumbs up, and I give it to him back. And 30 seconds later, I was like, maybe I should have like hid under his porch with him or something. Because
Just
then,
waited the storm out.
yeah, like in horror movies where like the ghost is like reaching out and like peeling for their neck.
Yes.
I felt like that was what the storm was doing.
It was just going for your neck.
Yeah, like it was creeping behind me. It was a lot of adrenaline.
Right.
A little bit of fear. Because, like, obviously with a storm, you don't know, like, what's going to happen.
Right,
There's
right.
a bunch of trees around. You don't know if, like, a log's going to come down, a branch is going to come down.
Especially, yeah, I was going to say that wind I was swimming before the storm came for us, and I just looked up, and it was pitch black skies, and I was like, oh, I got to get out of the water. So I got out and I dried off. It was still sunny, and by the time I made it back over to my house, the wind had like blown the trees, like they were like at an angle, crooked. It was
Yep.
crazy. I was like, it is so windy. We haven't had a storm, like a major storm like that, in a long time.
Yeah. It was a little interesting to be out in, a little, like I said, just a little scary.
Yeah,
But
it's an experience for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And I would do it again. But
That
once the
was
rain started coming, the rain mixing with the wind coming that fast at me, it hurt so
Oh,
bad.
I bet.
Like
I
it was
bet.
at my back maybe for a minute, and it was downhill. So I was cruising. My
Mhm.
pace the whole run was about 8 minutes. Boom, the rain hit. I looked down, it was like 5:30. I was
Oh
like,
my
oh, whoa.
gosh.
Like,
Put your foot down.
yeah, really. I do, whenever the rain starts, I do hit the gas a little bit, but I did not think it was that much. But it was because the wind was at my back
Right.
and a lot of adrenaline. And then once I turned the corner and had the wind at my side with the rain coming at my side, my whole right side just went red because it was just stinging so
Good
bad.
Lord. That is insane. We
Oh, yeah.
like, for those who don't know, when we run in college, we'll run rain, sun, snow, sleet, hail, whatever it is, as long as there's not like high speed, dangerous level winds,
Hmm.
chances are we're out running in it. The only time I've ever had to run inside, believe it or not, was a secondary long run day. So we went out, we did maybe 2 miles, and then the alarm started sounding. So we had to come back.
And you heard it 2 miles away from campus?
We did like, it was like a loop. So we went
Okay.
down. Nobody's gonna know except like people that run with us, but we went down Louser,
Okay.
and kind of took the short Louser, like when you turn left at that last intersection and come up the road to school.
Yeah.
So we went there. So we were nearby school, and we heard the alarm, and we had to go back inside. And this guy Kyle Monroe, who was a senior that year, and I raced to the weight room to see if there were any treadmills, and there were 2 treadmills left. So he and I got on the treadmills, and everyone else had to run around the indoor track. And because we're inside, you have to be wearing a shirt.
Ooh.
So I always wear like an athletic shirt to practice. And
Wait,
Kyle
what
had,
what time of the year was this? Fall, spring?
it was the fall.
Okay.
So we got on the treadmills. We were doing our secondary long run, and I felt horrible for the people like Noah Baxter and Mike Dorzak, who Mike Dorzak packed just a regular old white t-shirt because we run shirtless. So he had just this cotton white t-shirt on, and he was running around an indoor track for like another hour, 200-meter track for another hour. And he was just covered in sweat when he was done with it. He said his nipples chafed. Like it was just a
Oh,
horrible, horrible run. I felt so bad for him. So
sounds
when
like it
people
turned
always
into a
are
wet
like,
t-shirt contest.
people are always like, yeah, yes. People always ask like, how do you run in the rain or the snow? It's like, well, I don't want to run inside and I got to run. So it's
Yep.
better than being on a treadmill for however long I got to do it, or running around that god awful indoor track that we
Oh,
have
yeah.
for however long we have to do it. So that's my motivation to to get outside is
Hmm.
I hate running inside.
Yeah, treadmill is my all-time least favorite. It's the bottom of the ladder of what I want to do
Really.
when I think about running.
I've had to do a couple things on an elliptical before, and that one it's hard because you got to go to town on that
Yeah.
elliptical.
Yeah.
Um, but treadmill's not fun because you don't go anywhere. You don't see anything.
And if you don't have like a TV above you or a phone there playing
Right,
something,
right.
it's like the time keeps going and going and
Exactly.
going. Feels like it takes
Exactly.
forever.
Yes.
And
But
that's kind of how it is for like running the same loop or running the same mountain back. Like if you run the same place every day, it gets like a
yes,
little.
you have to change it up.
Yeah, like I've seen the house a million times. I could probably like tell
Yeah.
you the square foot of it or something.
That's where that's where I don't know how like people do the same loop every day. Like more power to you if you can and like it doesn't phase you. But I have to change it up. If I do the same thing every day, I get so bored.
Hmm. Is the terrain around where you live, is it like similar, like flat, or do you have hills? Do you have flat?
We have hills. Like I did a long run back in spring training that was, I don't know, I think 1,200 feet of elevation gain.
Oh,
So it all
geez.
depends. Yeah, that one was awful. It all depends on where you go. I can go to. nature center with I ran there with Noah this past week, and we did 7 miles, and we got 800 feet of elevation in those 7 miles. Um, so like it
Dang.
all depends on where you can go. I could also go on a long run that's 14 miles the opposite direction, and I'll get probably 200 feet of elevation gain. Um, so it all
Okay.
depends.
Yeah.
But if I want to hit hills, I can hit hills.
Gotcha. Hills are like my I don't want to say I'm forced to do them, but I kind of am if I do anything above like 4 miles because I
But
can
you
go
do
to a
them
place.
well.
Yeah, and that's why because like literally all of my training is just hills.
That's good. That's
But
not a bad thing.
yeah, exactly. Better than like having
Forces
all
you to do
flats
it.
and then having to go on like a hilly course or something.
I'll never forget when, what was it that it was the Colebrook Hill. Colebrook, the first loop
Oh,
over,
the loop.
jump over that tree at the top.
Yeah.
I came down like, I don't know, we were probably like halfway through, and you had like broken off from the pack. I was like, who is
hmm
this kid? I
Yeah,
like him.
I really took off that
You
workout. That was
did.
my favorite workout of the season.
That was a good one. I'm excited for those two hill loops. The one with the gravel, and then the other one that goes the other way.
Yeah.
The first one that we do. Those are some of my favorite workouts
Oh
because
yeah.
they humble you. If you don't do them right, like you see who can really like put on hills.
Yeah.
Um,
And the terrain's really fun to run on as well. I
it
just feel
is. It
like
changes it up.
hills versus like when you're running on a flat, like you know where your foot's gonna land, and it's
Hmm.
almost as if you can run with your eyes closed.
Right.
Like going up a hill or like hilly regions or like
Right.
rocky stuff and everything like that. Like you have to like be alert and pay attention, and I feel like that just takes my mind away from whatever I'm doing. And I can just
No, that's fair for sure. You
focus
have to
on
be
that.
very you have to pay a lot of attention to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But how many miles did you end up hitting this week?
This week, not as much as I was planning on. I was hoping for like low 50s, but I think I'm shooting somewhere like mid to high 40s.
That's
So
fine. It's
I
early
can,
summer.
yeah, exactly. I think I can still bust out high 50s or
Hmm.
my goal of 60 next week. So
Yeah, that'll be fine. And you
should
got
be
plenty
pretty
of
well.
time.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly. How was your week?
It was
What did you
good.
do?
I work a lot. So I was working, and then
Workaholic.
yeah, it was off. It was a rough week actually. I worked like 3 days in a row, which I
Oh,
opened. So I was up at like 5 o'clock, 3 days in a row. So that was
jeez. Is that
hard,
why you texted me
but
today at like 5:30?
yeah, that's when I woke up. That was actually the second time I woke up. I woke up this morning at 5 for my dog, and then I went back to bed.
Oh,
But yeah. So I was up at 5:30, work 6:30 to 3 or something like that every day. I worked 32 hours this week. It was fun, but my summer class is rough. It's a lot of work.
what are you taking?
It's principles of marketing.
Oh,
Hmm.
what is? I mean, it's obviously about marketing, but like
Yeah, it's
deep,
like
a little
international
bit of
marketing.
deep
So
dive.
it puts you in this like position of like you are a marketing executive for a company, and so you not only learn about the decisions that marketing executives make, but then you make them.
Okay.
So you're put in a situation where you have to analyze a business plan and kind of make marketing decisions based on that plan.
Ooh,
And
that
there's
sounds
no
pretty
real
fun.
like wrong answer. You just have to back it up with reasoning. Because like in
Yep.
marketing, you never really know what's going to happen. You just have to do research and then like make an educated guess based on that research. You can say like, "Hey, this will probably go really bad if we do this." You can say
hmm
that for sure, but like you never really know 100% like what the best outcome is.
Yep. Hindsight's 2020 though. Once it
Hmm.
passes.
Exactly. But other than that, it was good. Running's been actually really, really good for me this week. I got to run with two people from school. I ran with Noah and I ran with Darren. So that was really good. It was some trail running too, so nice
At the
some
same time or different
soft stuff.
days?
Different days. It was actually the same place. Noah was like one day, and then Darren was the exact next day.
Oh, nice.
So it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a nice little change of scenery because, like I said, I got to go on trails, and we didn't get lost, which is always nice because I've been lost multiple times there. So it was good. I had a lot of fun with it. Again, I came up a little short too this week. I think I'm gonna hit like 67 or 68 miles when I wanted to hit 70, but is what it is.
That's
You
pretty
can't really
close.
complain, right? I was like, well, I've got plenty of time, and then we're gonna start to aggressively build up to 100 soon.
Exactly. See, how do you track your mileage for the summer? Do you still use Final Surge?
I don't use Final Surge. I just kind of throw it in my head.
That's
Um,
exactly what I do.
and like I run with the Nike Run Club app. So all of my data is logged on there. If I wear my watch, it's on my watch. So I have it in different locations, but
Hmm.
I just got Strava. So I'm going to start running with Strava too.
See,
Um,
didn't they make like an update to Strava where you have to pay for everything?
they did. Um, and so you can't like put your own route in anymore. You have to run with the app open. So
Oh,
I already carry my phone with me, so I'm just gonna run with the app open.
so it's not that
Um,
big of a deal for
right.
you.
The only thing is you can do it. You can run with the app not open if you connect your watch. But my watch GPS broke like a couple months ago. It broke over, I think, indoor season or something like that. Maybe it was cross, but
Okay.
it doesn't connect to my phone. So like even with I have a Garmin and the Garmin doesn't sync with the Garmin Connect app.
Hmm.
So like it's just such a huge disconnect. And then after 30 days, the runs on my watch get deleted because
Okay.
it doesn't hold it for that long.
Hmm.
Like the storage isn't that big because it's a watch
Yeah.
and it's meant to sync like automatically.
Yeah.
So like all of my runs are just gone on there because they didn't sync onto my phone.
Wait, so if you are like running on a new trail or something, how do you know how far you're at if you don't have GPS? Is that where you take your phone? Do you use like a
So when I ran
GPS on
with
that?
Noah and Darren, they both had watches, and their GPS watches work. My watch works, it just doesn't sync to my phone, so I can check it and like remember. Oh, Tuesday I ran 7 miles on a trail,
Okay.
because I can kind of remember week by week who I ran with or what I did, like what route I
Hmm.
did. Um, but yeah, if I ever go on a trail, I don't take my phone. Or if I run with other people, I'll wear my watch. I won't take my phone with me because the only reason I have my phone with me 99% of the time is to listen to music.
Hmm.
Um, so if I don't need to listen to music because I have someone to talk to, then I just won't take my phone with me.
Gotcha. I feel like if I were to try to run with my phone, it would slip out of my hand when my hand gets really sweaty. Does that like is that even
I mean, I
in
don't
your
sweat a
mind?
whole lot, but I also change hands a lot because like my arm will get tired from carrying it.
Oh,
So I
okay.
switch
Oh yeah.
which
What if
hand
you had
holds
like
it
one jacked hand from running like a
when
hundred
just ripped
miles?
arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Be
I
like that
don't.
Skittles commercial with the dog.
um, yeah, so I don't worry about it really slipping out as much, but I also hold on to it pretty tight when I am running because
Okay,
I'm afraid of
gotcha.
like me pulling it back and it just flies out of my hand because I'm an
Yeah, that's
idiot.
my fear.
Um, but my phone's also broken beyond belief, so
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have much to worry about. But yeah, it was a good week overall. I had a really good run the other day. That actually I wanted to talk about today, kind of our little focus area. It was about motivation. So it was a really good run where I learned all about motivation. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it too soon. But
Ooh,
I have a lot to talk about. I've been really excited to talk about this one because I
ooh,
feel like
good.
motivation is something that everyone struggles with. Like at some point in their life, you struggle with motivation. I don't care
Yeah,
how perfect of a person you are, you struggle with motivation at some point. The
yep,
best of
everyone.
athletes struggle with motivation. Like everybody does. So I feel like it's something that you can always learn about. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you've never fully mastered it. You can always take something from someone else and learn about it. And
Yep.
so I'm excited
The
to
knowledge keeps growing.
exactly. I'm excited to share what I've learned. But I want to hear from you first. What do you do to stay motivated? How do you stay motivated over like spring when we are by ourselves or over summer when you have a long training block or during school? Like, talk to me.
Yeah. So me individually, I I probably have one of the worst capabilities of staying motivated. Like I can get motivated if I like, I don't know, see an inspirational thing and I can get like very motivated, but it doesn't last long at all. And so to keep that, I have to use very strong imagery. Like I constantly picture either the future or the past. Like past success, like with the team and everything like that.
Okay.
I either have to picture that or I have to picture like where I want to be. And I have to do that like very vividly, like down to like, okay, we are going to place this at max or like this at regionals or
Right.
something like that. Or else, like, I don't know, I just don't have that drive if I don't give myself the visual there.
Would you say that's like goals that you set for yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
So you like, I want the team to be third at
Yep.
max. So I'm going to do this work today and tomorrow and the next day, all for this one goal to get there.
Yep.
And you think that one goal carries you pretty much the entire season, or does it change? Do you have
It
new
changes.
goals?
It definitely changes because like one goal the whole time of like however many miles I have to do, it gets a little dry and like not as effective. And that's kind of what
Right.
happened to me this week. Like Wednesday, I think I texted you. I was like 30 minutes into the run and my brain turned off.
Right.
Like it was going fine the first 30 minutes and then I got like this little thing in my head that told me, "Yo, this hurts." And then
Mm-hmm.
my whole brain was like, "Yeah, this does hurt. I'm done." And I literally walked, jogged like another, I don't know, half mile or something. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come back to this some other time. Add on the mileage somewhere else." Because I was just not feeling it in that
Just
moment.
out of it.
Yeah. And that happens to me a lot, but a lot of the time how I get through it is I just grind through it.
So
I'm
you just
like,
kind of put your head down and ignore it and try and
"Yep,
get through it.
yep." And I don't want to say 100% of the time because my memory is obviously not that good,
Right.
but I'm gonna confidently say about 99% of the time when I just grind through it, it gets better before the run end.
So you kind of like shut off your head, put it out of your mind, and kind of work through it, and it
Yep.
it fades. You got to just tough it out
Yep.
first. That's a good mentality. That's not easy to do, especially. So you're, I want everybody that's listening to this to understand, a collegiate runner struggles with running sometimes.
Big time.
So like every struggle that you have too is okay. Like us as collegiate runners, we struggle with running. That's our, if you will, sometimes it's our job is to run fast
Hmm.
or far. And sometimes we struggle with that. Like it's not always, we don't wake up every day and like, ooh, I can't wait to run. Like there are some days where I do not want to run, but I do it because I'm motivated. And
Yep.
so, but that's an interesting take on it for sure. That kind of like put your head down and grind.
Hmm. And like you said, like some days when you wake up and you're like, I don't want to do that. For some reason, whenever I'm in like a downtime of motivation, that is always my first thought when I wake up. And when,
What is like, I don't want to run
yeah,
today.
like I don't want to do this today. And like
It
when
could be anything.
that's,
Could it be like school too?
yeah, yeah,
So you just don't feel like
anything.
getting out of bed that day.
Yeah. And when I have like a negative thought first thing in the morning and I don't accomplish that task right away,
Mm-hmm.
it just is in the back of my mind all day.
Yeah, it just
And
kind
then
of
I
sets
feel
you
like I
up.
just wasted a day because I'm constantly like pushing it off, doing like little tasks in between to
Right.
try and keep pushing it off. Whereas if I would wake up and just get it over with right away,
Mm-hmm.
then there you go. I have like what 10 hours left in the day or something. Probably a
Right.
lot more than that actually. Probably like 14 hours left in the day or something like that.
So what do you do when you wake up and you're in kind of one of those funks?
Most of the time I push it off.
So you just kind of push it off, and do you end up regretting doing that?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Again, I'm not going to say 100%, but
Right, right.
most of the time I regret it. Today I don't because again today I woke up and it was very hot, and
Yeah,
obviously
there
yesterday with the
there are
storm
some
I don't.
justifications for it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean I'm gonna do it like right
Right,
after dinner, probably at
right.
like 7 o'clock at night or something like that. Maybe
Oh,
maybe a
bless you.
night
I'm gonna go
run.
do it at like 4:30 when it's
Ooh,
like dummy hot.
yeah, absolutely not. That's when practice is.
That's why I try to
Prac-
get myself as used to the heat as possible. So
yep,
that's where it's like when it's
you're
four
gonna you're
o'clock,
gonna do it eventually.
right? Get used to it, because then when it's a race and it's hot, you can't control the start time of a race.
Yep,
So if I can be more used to the heat than the guy next to me, great. I'll do anything I
absolutely.
can.
Do you ever have those days where you wake up and the only thing you want to do is run?
Yes.
Like you're that motivated?
Yes. There are days that I'm genuinely beyond excited for running that I've almost called out of work because I've just wanted to run.
Wow.
There
How do you get that high level of
it's
motivation?
How do I get that high level of motivation?
Yeah.
That's I'm motivated because I think I said on the first episode when we were kind of talking about ourselves, I want to be the best runner that I can possibly be. So I believe that I was like born to do this.
So you got this like fire inside of you.
Yeah, so I feel like I owe it to myself to like have no regrets and really put it all out there. And like when I walk away, graduated, I know that there wasn't a single thing I could have done differently to get a better result. Like I don't want to have any questions, any what ifs. I want to leave satisfied with the time that I spent here and what I was able to accomplish while I was here.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, there's nothing like being on a team that is having success together. Like
Mm-hmm.
having a group of guys you see work so hard every day, like put themselves through so much pain every day, and like knowing that you want to be a part of that too. Like I want to put myself through just as much pain as the guy next to me because he's doing it for me, so I'm going to do it for him. And like
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you owe it to your teammates to put yourself through that much pain because they're doing it to themselves.
Yep.
That's 100% what I believe. That's where I look up to people. Like when I was kind of before I stepped into this leader role as a captain, like last year and even this past year, like my freshman and sophomore year, you just look up to people that really put in the work, like every
Mm-hmm.
single day, come in, they don't complain, they work because they're doing it for their team, not just for themselves. And that's something that I have always admired. And that's
Yeah.
like, I want to be like that to where I come in and I put in the work and people see it and it motivates them to, put in the work too. So I'm motivated both by myself and by my team.
That's incredible. I feel like the internal, like motivating yourself by yourself, I feel like that's one of the hardest but most powerful ways of motivation.
I
Like
completely agree.
if you're like doing something because you want to see how good you can be at it,
Mm-hmm.
and like your motivation is your self drive to make yourself better, like
Right.
I feel like that is the most incredible way of motivation. But also I feel like for young people, I feel like the whole team aspect
Mm-hmm.
works a little bit better for them, because a lot of times you see people have better splits in a 4x8 or a 4x4 than they're open. And I
Right.
feel like that's because they have the weight of their team on their
Yeah.
shoulders as well. And so they're not only doing that race for themselves, but they're doing it for everyone else
Right.
who has put in the work in that same race.
Yeah. People think about it like pressure, but it's like it's not pressure.
Mm-mm.
It's
It's a
inspiring.
drive. Yeah.
It is to be like to have the team on your shoulders and like lead them or
Mm-hmm.
close it out. Like if you're the opening leg, the closing leg, like having the team on your shoulders like that, that's where I feel like people thrive the most. Like if you can handle that moment and
Mm-hmm.
truly like get the most out of it, that's where you perform the best.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, like if they don't have that strong motivation for themselves, and I'm speaking right now from like self experience,
Mm-hmm.
like this has literally happened to me so many times,
Right.
and they get into like that heated moment where it's like an individualized race, like an, I don't know, a mile or like 2 mile or something on the
Right.
track, and it comes down to the part where like you got to put yourself through a lot of pain
Right.
to get that win, and they might just ease back just a little bit.
Right. And then it's
And
over.
I have done that before. I'm not gonna lie about what
Oh,
I've done in the
100%. I
past.
think
Like I've
everybody
done that.
has.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you can confidently tell me that you can look
Every
me in the
race
eyes
was
and say
100%.
every race, right? Every race you get, if you can, bless you. That's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. You are truly something special because that is unbelievably difficult to do for just one race, let
Yep.
alone every single race.
Yep.
So yeah, everybody shares that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you get to that point. It's like every race has that point. Like the 400, it's the last 100.
Mm-hmm.
The mile, it's what like the last. I don't want to say it's the last 200 because that's when you start your kick. I would say it's like the third lap
It's the third lap that decides
is
the
the
race.
deciding lap, and you get to that point where like you got to make a decision. Like, are you in this race or are you
Right.
taking a back seat a little bit?
Right.
And
Yeah, I feel like
unfortunately, more times than not, I've taken a back seat. But there were
right.
times where I like, okay, I'll take the back seat, and then in the race, I'm like, wait, what are you doing? This is a race right now, and I'll
Right.
take the driver's seat and I'll go for it
Right.
after taking a back seat for a little bit.
Well, that's good that you're able to kind of like switch your mental state and like be like, no, no, it's okay to be uncomfortable. Like this,
Mm-hmm.
it's time to go.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people see like us as like we'll say we ran a time, and people be like, oh my gosh, that's so good, and like we're not happy with it, and they're like, oh, but you still ran so well, and it's like, yeah, but
Yep.
like it's not the time. It's, I feel like us runners at least, and maybe it's the same for other sports, but it's like the effort level that we
Yep.
associate with it. So it's like people hear a time, but we think of an effort level behind it. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
say I ran a 17 flat 5K. I can do that pretty easily. I could probably do it right now.
Yeah.
um, and some people will think that's amazing, and if you look at it, it is really incredible that I can do that.
Yeah.
But like I'll say, oh, it's just a 17-minute 5K, like it's nothing, because I associate that with lower effort than I do my maximum 5K. And
Yep.
so I feel like a lot of people hear that and they're like, they focus on the time, whereas we focus on the effort, and there's that
Mm-hmm.
disconnect.
That's a really good way of looking at it.
It is such a huge difference when you think about it, like time and effort.
Yeah.
A Division 1 or a professional runner could run my PR probably effortlessly,
Yeah.
and I'd be like,
Definitely.
holy crap, like look at me, I just ran that. And the guy'd be like, yeah, I just ran 15:45 nothing. And it was
Yeah.
like, holy crap, dude, that's amazing. And then it's like the same conversation, it just depends on where you are in the ladder, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I don't want to say normal person, but like, somebody that I meet on the street to me is the same as me to a professional runner. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
conversation, you're just moving up the ladder.
Yep.
And so that's where it's like, it's hard to be motivated, I feel like, when you're on that bottom of the ladder and you see somebody that's doing this. But then it's like, well, it's hard too when we see other people above us. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're not the top of the ladder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we still struggle with motivation, the
Yeah,
same with
like you're
pro
obviously
runners.
not gonna like look down for motivation. Like,
Right, you look up.
yeah, like we're not gonna watch someone run like a slower mile time than our PRs and be like, wow, I want to do that next time.
Right.
Like that's like the truth to it. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna look up for your motivation. You're not gonna look down for your motivation. And so
exactly.
like imagine having like Usain Bolt. Imagine having a world record.
Exactly.
Like your motivation has to be not getting caught. Like
It
at that point you're
He said,
running with
even
like everyone behind you.
I watched a documentary on him, and he said it was one of the most difficult things to train because he was the fastest man in the world. He said there was nobody like with me. Who
Yeah.
do I who do I
Yeah.
train to beat when I'm training to beat myself? He's like, it's so difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's where staying intrinsically motivated, like I gotta get better, is
Yep.
so difficult. But
Yeah.
that's too, like, I feel like that's what the everyday person struggles with, is like they're not part of a team. Not every, you could have run clubs, you could run at your work with people, like have like a run lunch hour thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are things that you can do with people, but it's not the same as like a collegiate team.
Yeah.
And so a lot
Like you
of
don't have
your,
those strong bonds.
right, nobody's forcing you to be there. You don't, like, if you don't want to go, you don't have to go. And so I feel like a lot of people need intrinsic motivation, and that's what they struggle with the most. And the
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I learned on my most recent run was like, they were saying like,
Oh, is this the juice we're getting into?
this is the deep part that
Oh yeah.
I've been really excited to share this thing that I learned. So
Okay.
they said, I won't take credit for this because this was by all means not my idea. I just want to pass along the knowledge that I've learned because I think this is just absolutely spectacular. When you're looking for motivation, you feel unmotivated. How do I get my motivation back? That's a common question that I get asked. I don't know if you do too.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get my motivation back? Where do you get motivated from? Because I'm losing my motivation. Well, that can be twisted to saying that you want to find your motivation. In other words, you're motivated to find your motivation.
Yeah.
So you never really lost motivation. It's just in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that this guy, like the analogy that he used is like, your motivation is like this bright blue sky. Everybody loves looking at this bright blue sky. We know the sky is blue. We know our motivation is there, right?
Mm-hmm. I like where this is
Sometimes,
going.
sometimes like yesterday, it gets cloudy sometimes, clouds cover up the sky. And then we forget about the blue sky. When it's cloudy out, I don't think about the blue sky. I think about the clouds that I'm looking at.
Yep.
The same way when something, stress, anxiety, anything else in your life that kind of covers up the sky, this motivation, you don't think about it because you think about the things that are covering it up. So you have to, the thing that he said is like, you have to be able to take a step back and kind of hit pause for a second. And like, it's still there. It's just covered by all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I know that my motivation is still there, I'm still motivated to do whatever it is I want to do. And this stress, this anxiety, whatever it may be, it doesn't change the fact that the sky is blue.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that you can do that will change the fact that the sky is blue. So
I
it's like
love that.
you're always motivated. Sometimes it's just covered up and you got to do a little work to find it. It's not easy. I'm not saying that this is easy by any means. It takes practice, and like anything that takes practice, you'll get better at it over time.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to work at it. You got to put the effort into your mental, like, fitness, if you will. That's the one thing that you ask me anything that I love about running. It's you use your mind as much as your body.
Yep.
You have to train your mind as much as your body. So when you are not motivated, you have to train your mind to find that motivation. You have to train your mind to get rid of the anxiety, the stress, the panic, the worry, move it out of the way and find your motivation. Because once you do that, and again, you'll get better over time, but once you do that and it gets easier and easier and easier and easier, you'll find that your motivation is covered up less and less and less, because you're doing it automatically. You know, you block the stress out, you block the worry out. And that's what I found with me is like, I've started to do that. I woke up one morning and I was like, I don't really want to run. Okay, well, let's twist this into a positive. I get to run today. I have the ability to run today. So how can I stay motivated? Well, I'm stressed at work. Well, work doesn't really affect your running. Well, I'm stressed with school because my summer class is a lot of work. Well, that doesn't really affect your running. Let's look at running. I'm perfectly healthy. I'm perfectly able to run. It's a beautiful day. Let's go for a run. You have to find that motivation intrinsically to be able to kind of pull that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was really good.
That was
I'm gonna
one of
use that now.
I hope
I'll let you
everybody
know how
does.
many
Like,
times of like this week I
yeah,
use that.
every time, like, it takes practice. So like, don't get like, I don't want to use the word unmotivated, but like, don't get deterred.
Discouraged?
Yeah, don't get discouraged. That's a great word. Thank you. Like, you don't pick up running and run a 4:30 mile. It takes time. You're not going to pick this up and be perfect your first try, and that's okay. The fact that you're doing it in the first place shows that you're motivated to find your motivation.
Yep.
And so you still have it. It's just in a different place. That's all. But
I feel like that was a really good analogy. Because
right, I
for
heard it on
me,
my run. I was like, that is
yeah,
insane. That was just
exactly.
a beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but most of the time, when I think I'm now going to say this, when I think I lost my motivation,
Right?
it's the most stressful or anxiety-inducing
Right.
times
You're
of my
worried
like. Yeah, exactly.
for no
And
reason because
that's
it's
when I
still
feel like
there.
I've lost my motivation.
Mm-hmm. And then
But
it just becomes more clouds,
yeah,
more
exactly.
clouds.
Yep, it's just covered up.
Exactly. I heard that. I was like, this is great. This is something that I want to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. That was. I'm telling you right now, that's like life changing for me.
Right?
Hearing that.
It was really something that I like. I'm sad that I can't listen to these because they're the ones on the Nike Run Club app that I listen to while I run.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like running and I'm like, oh, that was good. I got to remember that. Oh, that was also good. I got to remember that. And I can't like go back and listen to them because it tracks my GPS. So I'm like, I don't want it to log, a 45-minute run that I just sat in my bed the whole time writing notes down. So I'm like taking mental notes in my head as I'm going through this run because I'm like, oh, this is something that I really want to share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Totally
I was
understand that.
like, that's something that like a lot of people don't realize. Like, everybody struggles with motivation. Usain
No
Bolt
matter where they're
struggled
at.
with motivation. If Usain Bolt struggled with motivation, it is okay for you to struggle with motivation too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that man is the fastest man in the world and he struggled with motivation.
Yep.
That's okay. It's okay to struggle with motivation. But the biggest thing is just making it positive, and it's still there. It's just covered up.
Yep. It's like that with more than running too. Like even like cleaning your room or something. Like
Right, right.
you ever get those spurs where like, man, I really want to clean my room right now.
Yes, and then you're so happy when it's done because it looks
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that. I feel like that is one of those things that's always there. Like
Hmm.
people love having a clean room or
Yeah.
like a clean house.
I mean, I say that as my bed is not made right there, but we'll just block that
Mine
out.
is.
My room, my parents will both tell you I'm a slob. My room is a mess.
But when it's clean, you love it.
Exactly. That's like the same with the clean car. I swear my car runs nicer, like smoother when it's clean.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's so weird. Like
Oh,
whenever I give it like a good wash and wax
yep.
and then like vacuum out the inside, I'm
Hmm.
like,
She
man,
runs
she's
better.
purring. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, that can even like it's the same with work or school. Like I feel like we can relate school to how people, go about jobs because I don't have a regular 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But like I go to school 5 days a week and there are so many more days than not that I don't want to go to class. And in
Yep.
college, it's so easy to just not go to class because your professors don't care.
Mm-hmm.
In a smaller school, it's a little bit harder because they take attendance. But like at big universities, my friends with like 100-person lecture halls, they say they skipped class. The professor didn't even notice. Like
Yep.
you can't keep track at that point. So it's like it's so easy to lose motivation at school and not want to go to class, want to sleep just another hour, or it's a beautiful day and you want to just play frisbee with your friends or something like that. Like it's so easy, or you just want to play video games instead of doing your homework. Like there's so much that goes into it that relates to having a job. Sometimes you don't want to have a job, but you don't want to, well, you probably want a job for money purposes, but like you might not like the job you have, you
Yeah.
might not like the work you have to do, but it's like being able to stay motivated and to like get it done and just kind of find ways to turn it into a positive, I feel like is a huge thing.
Yeah, definitely. And seeing the progress along the way
Yeah, for
just
sure.
builds on that motivation as well.
Right. Yeah, that was when I switched to being a business major and having, obviously a business major is a little easier, I won't lie. Um, but like seeing my grades go up and stuff like that, like it was so much more motivating to see like my hard work was paying off instead of getting lower grades the
Yeah.
more I studied. Like
Yeah.
I was so confused and it was stupid and I was
And that's a weird thing too. Like I feel like that happens to me. Like you can study more, but like the exam score might be a lot less. Like that happened to
it
me this
doesn't
semester.
guarantee,
I did not study for my French final.
right?
It was the best French exam I took in 2 semesters.
All year.
Like yeah, all year. Like tell me how
Amazing.
that happens. I
That
did not study for it.
world works in ways,
Yeah, definitely.
weird ways. But yeah, it's the same thing. I feel like no matter how much work you do, nothing is promised. You know what I mean? Like you're not guaranteed any end results just because you do X amount of work. Like
Hmm.
you got to keep working at whatever you're trying to do. Just because I run 100 miles over the summer, it doesn't mean I'm going to come out and be guns blazing and cross. Like I have to continue to work.
Yeah.
Just because I do a lot of work or a lot of studying doesn't mean my boss will notice me or I'll get good grades. Like you have to continue to do it and to build on it and do it not necessarily for the rewards, but because you love doing it.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's another huge thing is like this one word that my coach and I were talking about, passion. Like I run because I have a passion for running. That's
Hmm.
when I say that's that intrinsic drive. Every day I have a passion for running that doesn't go away. When I don't run, I get genuinely sad and like I just feel bad. I'm like, man, I miss doing this. I miss running. It's a
Yep.
part of me. So it's like you got to find something that you're passionate about. If it's not running, that's okay. Maybe it's weightlifting. Maybe you're passionate about weightlifting. Go join a gym. If that's something that you can wake up and you'll do every day, go do that. If it's not weightlifting and maybe you're doing that and you're like, yeah, it's not for me. Maybe it's running. Maybe it's basketball. Go join an intramural basketball league. Find something. Men's lacrosse or people do like softball is a big thing
Hmm.
nowadays. Join a softball league. Like find something that you can wake up and do every day. Because for me, that's running, but that doesn't mean that it's running for you. You know what I mean? It could be soccer. It could be football. I think I said football, but like hockey, you never know. It could be skating. You can go free skate every day. I don't care. Find something that you are passionate about is what it boils down to. If it's your work, great. Find a job that you're passionate about. If it's whatever, school, that's more power to you. I'm nowhere near passionate about school as I should be. And I
I
probably shouldn't
feel
say that
that.
because I have family that listens to this, but I am so sorry. I try really hard, but running is where my passion is. And that's why I
Hmm.
want to be a coach. Like I can wake up every day and be happy going to work 12 out of 10 days.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's the biggest thing is find something you're passionate about. That's what helps you stay motivated more than any lesson I like can teach you. Like being passionate about it will bring you to do so many things.
I feel like when you're passionate about something, like not only do you get better at that individual thing, but like your overall outlook on life gets a lot better. Because like
100%.
imagine like because there's definitely people that are like that do this. Like they go to their everyday 9 to 5, they come home, they like watch TV just to wake up the next morning and do it, and they hate their job
Right.
and like whatever their situations are, but they aren't doing anything that they're passionate about. Like they
Yeah.
might
They're
be in the
just
back of their head
coasting.
like, man, one day I might want to do that. Like
Right.
why
Go do
not
it.
today? Why not tomorrow? Like
Right.
get to it.
Make a decision and roll with it. If you even think maybe you're not sure what your passion is and you want to try something, try it. What's the
Hmm.
harm if you like end up not liking it? There's no harm in it. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it doesn't hurt to not try it.
Yeah. Like if you try something and you don't like it, you can just
Stop.
go back to not
Right.
doing it.
Right. I wanted to try and do this podcast. I texted you, hey, do you want to try and do this podcast? We fell in love 5 minutes in. I was like, I
Yep.
love this. I'm going to keep doing this. Like, this is so much fun. Now we're 3 hours into talking about our lives and I don't see an end to it.
it,
Like, I'm
it
having
feels
so
like
much fun.
the whole time in all episodes, it feels like we've been talking for about 20 minutes. Like
100%.
it just
It
goes
goes
by
by so
so
quickly.
fast.
So, like, this is something that once a week I can sit down with Jordan for an hour and talk about life. And it de-stresses me. It takes my mind off of like I have like 4 assignments I have to do later today on top of running, on top of swimming, on top of I have to wake up at 5 a.m. for work tomorrow. I don't think about any of that. I'm not worried about any of that. Right now I just get to have fun with my friend, and like the fact that we get to do that is awesome. It's because we're passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
We're passionate about sharing our experiences and talking about our lives and running and how that's shaped who we are and our our goals and everything like that. And that's something that's huge for us. And so it's like
Yeah,
find something like that you're passionate about that you can go out every day and really enjoy doing.
that sparked an interesting idea in my mind. Where do you think you'd be, and what do you think you would be doing right now if you had never gotten into running?
If I had never gotten into running,
Yeah, like what would you be doing right now?
that's a great question. Wow. That's an amazing question. I think if I had never gotten into running, I would probably have spent a lot more time. I'm awful at basketball. I think I said that, and a ton of our friends would agree, but I'd probably have put a lot more time into basketball, and I probably would have ended up playing basketball in high school. I don't know if I would have been good enough to play in college or not,
Hmm.
because I'm pretty bad now, like really bad. Um, but that's probably the next biggest thing that I was passionate about. Um,
Basketball.
yeah, because I love watching it. Still to this day, I'll watch it whenever it comes on.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, we've always been a sports driven family. Like my brothers played football, I played lacrosse, soccer, basketball. Like I played a whole bunch of stuff. So
Hmm.
I probably would have ended up sticking with basketball and just practiced a lot more at it. Um, yeah, that's
Would you
probably where
still
I would
have
have been.
like the same interests in your like going to college, going for this major, doing this, doing that?
I definitely, I don't know, because I don't think I would have wanted to be, obviously, I wouldn't have wanted to be a running coach. So I don't know if I would have wanted to be a basketball coach at that point or if I would have wanted, like, just kind of stuck out Axi. Um, I don't know. That's interesting. I feel like I don't know, because Axide definitely wasn't right for me. Like it didn't fit. I
Hmm.
wasn't cut out for it, and I'll admit that any day. But I feel like I might have ended up just with a generic bachelor's in um, business from some like state school. Like I probably would have gone to University of Maryland, got a
Hmm.
bachelor's in business with maybe a minor in economics or accounting, and gone to work at some business for like 25 years. Is probably where I would have ended up.
You know, it's really wild to think about, and it came into my mind when you were like, maybe I would have went to like University of Maryland. If we didn't get into running, we would not know each other.
No, not at all.
Most likely, our entire lives, we would not know each other.
Not even a little bit.
So
We wouldn't even
that's
come into contact with each
that's
other.
crazy. That's like mind-boggling. That
Brings you
thought right
together.
there.
It brings a ton of people together.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where
It's like
that's
a
even
it's like a
all sports do.
community.
It really is. That's the nice thing is like running is like I could see someone random running on the side of the road. I'll throw up a hand, they'll wave back to me.
Hmm.
Like 95% of the runners I meet are nice people.
Yep.
Um, and that's something that I really enjoy. Like I enjoy being able to see somebody on the side of the road and like, hey, you're out here running. Like I respect that. Good for you.
Yep.
And they feel the same exact way, which is really neat when you have never even met the person. You know,
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like bikers kind of have it out for us. I don't know why, but every time I see a biker, they just don't look happy.
they look like they're in pain. I hate biking. I
I don't know. It
cannot
just
do it.
burns. It
It
just burns,
does. It's so
and
much harder
it's
than
like no
running. I will
relief.
stand by it.
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely,
is. I would rather run up a hill than bike up a hill.
definitely. Most of the time when I'm biking and I see a hill, I just hop off and walk up it.
I I just do not like biking at all.
Yeah, it just I don't know what it is about it because like it's not like you don't have a breeze and you're just stationary sweating, but
Right?
I feel like you're not moving and your quads are just on fire the
They
entire time.
burn. It's a serious quad workout.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like running, like it uses everything,
Yeah,
but it's
quads,
not so
hamstring,
targeted.
calves, feet,
Yeah.
arms, core, back. Yeah.
Let me tell you about core. Yesterday when I started my run, I think I'm starting to gain a little bit of weight because I like normally don't feel my stomach when I run,
Was
but
it
let me.
like up and down?
Oh, it was bouncing. Yeah, I could feel it. I
Oh,
could feel it.
oh, boys, gotta hit the gym.
Yeah, I do. Big time. I think I'm up like I don't know, a couple pounds, just a
Okay,
few.
that's not
But
awful.
that I definitely see where it all went.
Went right to your stomach, huh?
Yep. Yep. But
I've been
I've
doing.
never felt it before, but I
I've
felt it
been.
yesterday.
That's not good. That's all right. You'll be fine. You got plenty of time.
Yeah, I got it.
But I've been doing these core workouts because I'm trying my best to get a six pack. It's not genetically really in the cards for me here
Mhm.
at this point in time. But I've been trying. I work really hard at it, and I do these like I hang from a pull up bar by my knees, and so like I'll wrap my knees around the pull up bar so I'm upside down, and I do
Mhm.
like full body length
Ooh.
sit ups up there. They are hard.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it is difficult because you're swinging, so you got to like use your core to stabilize yourself and then pull it up, and they're hard. But I do
I
that, and
I don't
then
even think I could do one.
it is. It's been a process. Like I'd get up and I'd put something soft underneath me because I was worried about falling, and then I hang there, and then I kind of start swinging to get used to the feeling of swinging. And I put my arms out to catch me, like along the bars that kind of hold up the thing.
Mhm.
So there's a lot that's gone into it because I've been like, okay, it's going to take, like, you're not going to just start busting out reps. Like, you have to
Yeah.
get used to this feeling first because it's a totally new exercise.
Hmm.
But my lifting routine has been something kind of fierce lately. It is.
Are you doing arms and legs as well?
Yeah, so I'll do squats. I did chest day with my coach the other day when he came. Oh my gosh. It was rough. We did regular bench, then we did like narrow push-ups, but our feet were elevated. So it's
Okay.
isolating just all of your upper body because you have no support lower body. And since your feet are isolated, like you're just putting all the weight on your upper body.
Hmm.
Then we did like wide grip bench, and then we did reverse grip bench, which is where you do it like that.
Oh, I've
So
never done that.
it targets like your underneath part of your pec. But that one hurt. That was rough. Because at this
Okay.
point, my arms are just ridiculously tired already. So I'm just attempting to push this weight up as much as I can. And like, I've never felt my arms buckle more in my life. Like I was just like
Jeez.
straighten out, just telling my body to straighten out, and it just barely wanted to go. Um,
Jeez.
so yeah, I think we did a couple other exercises. We did like the flies where you're laying back on your back with dumbbells. So we did those, and then we did tricep extensions too. Those were
Gotcha.
hard because that's like it comes down to where like the lowest position, and just bringing it back up is one of the most difficult things after your arms are so tired.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where he isolates every muscle he can, like in that workout.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dog, like my arms are just struggling to take this, and his arms are just, I mean, built. And he'll tell you, oh, the size doesn't matter. Yes, it does, but he'll sit there and why we don't lift for looks, we lift for performance. And okay, coach, I know, I'm trying, but it
Yep.
is difficult. It's like I got
Yep.
scrawny little arms here,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to do what you can do.
I feel
But
like if I try and lift something too heavy, my arm would just snap.
yeah,
Like,
we're
because it's
built
just
like
like a little
twigs.
twig. Yeah.
We are built like little twigs. I've been trying to get my legs. I want to look more like Noah Baxter.
Oh, yeah.
I
Big
don't think
quad.
my quads will ever be that big, but I'm trying. I
I
want
just
just
want definition, like as
that's the
much
thing. I want to be able to put
definition.
my like flex my quad in the middle of like a camera picture, and you just see this
Yep.
ripped leg. Like
Yep.
that's what I want. I don't care how big it is, but I want it to be just it looks shredded.
Yep. Did I ever tell you about my first impression of Noah
No.
Baxter?
No.
Of him? Okay, so I pulled out for my overnight visit, and he
Right.
was my like host or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull up outside of Silver, and he comes out the back door. Takes his first. He's got like the LVC cutoff shorts, so they're like a little bit above, so you can see part of
Mhm.
his leg. Takes his first step down the step, and I see his quad just flex. I'm like, oh
Mhm.
god.
Oh,
I'm like,
oh God.
jeez. And I was like, if that's what this program does, I want that.
That's hilarious. That's what we got to do. Noah Baxter is just going to be the face of our program. You want legs that
Yep.
look like this? Come to school here. He's the only one
Absolutely.
that I've ever seen with legs that look like that. But
Yeah.
come here, we'll try our best. His legs are insane.
It's like the definition and the size
Yeah.
for like a little runner.
When you look at like
Insane.
when he's like doing a plank and you get to see like the full like hamstring in the quad, like
Mhm.
the extended side view of it, those things are huge.
It's a little scary.
They
from,
are.
from an outsider's.
I want to know how many times he could break a watermelon between his legs. Like, I have no doubt he could break one, but I want to know if like, could he keep going? Like, what's the endurance behind that? Like, if you just rapid fire, like, put one in, squeeze, put another in, squeeze. Like, what's the point that will get to where he has to stop?
Someone has a world record for that, don't they? I think I saw that on Snapchat once.
That's terrifying.
On their like little discovery things.
It has been my entire life's goal to just witness somebody break a watermelon between their legs. I think I could do it. I think you could do it, honestly. Like, I've seen scrawny people do it, like weaker than you and I are.
They probably have that like focused advantage because their legs are smaller. So instead of like
it's just a
taking up this much surface area, like this
area.
Yeah, it's like putting a rubber band on it.
Right, just constantly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've wanted to see it for like with my own eyes for so long.
I would be starstruck.
I would be too.
Yeah, like I'd probably just stand there with my mouth open.
Heavy.
Yeah,
that is not easy to do. You got to be.
You know what? Wait, has anyone ever even thought of doing this? That would be like the ultimate quad test: breaking a coconut.
Oh my god, those things!
Could you even do that? Could you crush a coconut?
I don't know.
Because I've only ever seen them open with like machetes.
I've thrown one at the ground and it broke open.
Oh, it's totally possible, and someone's got to do it.
But you have to be strong because those ones are small.
I went to Hawaii when I was in second grade, and I found a coconut on the beach, and we took it back to like the hotel room.
Right.
We dropped that thing off 3 or 4 stories high twice.
Really?
And it didn't do anything to it.
Coconuts are insane.
Yeah, like we had no clue how to open
coconut water.
Oh, did you drink it?
Straight coconut water is disgusting.
Yeah, terrible.
I hate it.
Straight coconut is water. Like It tastes like nothing.
Really? I've
Yeah.
never had straight coconut, but the water inside it is nasty.
Oh yeah, it tastes sour. It's so sour.
It is. It's like bitter and weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like this.
And then like, I thought the coconut was going to be like that too, because like the only coconut most people
Right.
have is like in the packet where it's all sugared up and
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
and
yeah.
it tastes amazing.
Right.
So I was like, is this coconut going to be sour as well? And it tastes like nothing,
No, not at all.
but apparently it's really good for you.
Well, that's an hour, believe it or not.
All right, no,
That's an hour. Isn't that crazy?
wow,
It goes by so fast.
yeah,
So I think we'll call it there. As always, thanks for listening, guys. We had a lot of fun making this. Like I said, I was really excited to make this episode. So, as we said,
good break in the day.
It is. Every week we have a ton of fun making this. So thank you for tuning in and listening. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy making it. As always, again, reach out if you have any questions. Let us know. We're always here. And I think we're thinking about doing a Q&A session coming up soon where we'll post something. So keep an eye out for our Instagram, see what we do, because we're always down to answer questions and we might make an episode out of it. So we'll post
Do they
something
know
on
where
there.
they can find us now? All platforms?
Modern Running, all platforms.
yeah.
We got on Google, we're on
Spotify.
Spotify. We probably won't be putting anything on SoundCloud anymore because nobody was listening and I don't feel like paying
And
for SoundCloud.
Spotify's better.
Spotify's a lot better. And we're beyond Google, Spotify, Google.
Yep.
We're trying to get on Apple, and that's pretty much all three major listening platforms.
It's coming.
So check us out. Make sure you go and visit all those. Also, we'll be up on YouTube
if you
Modern
want to
Running.
see the visual.
And then that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
That's all she wrote. Nope.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, and see y'all later.
See ya.